Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's get right to it. Have you ever wondered if your bank has the right to just move money between your accounts? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the surprisingly powerful legal rules under Ugandan law that control your relationship with your bank.
And that question, it really gets to the core of how banking actually works. Think about it. You've got your savings account, your current account, maybe an overdraft. To you, they're separate pots of money, right? But does your bank see it that way? Let's dig into the hidden rules that are really in charge of your cash.
All right, to really get a grip on how much power your bank has, we need to start with this kind of shocking legal secret. And trust me, it's going to completely flip how you think about your money in the bank.
So you know that money you deposit? It's not actually sitting in a little box in a vault with your name on it. Nope. The moment you hand it over, it legally becomes the bank's property. What you get in return is a promise from the bank to pay you back. Basically, the tables turn completely. You become the lender, the creditor, and the bank becomes the borrower, your debtor. And this one little fact, it's the foundation for everything else we're about to talk about.
And this whole debtor-creditor thing, it's not just some legal mumbo-jumbo. It actually hands the bank a seriously powerful set of tools, an arsenal, really, to manage their own risk and, you guessed it, collect on any debts that you might owe them.
Okay, so the bank has two main weapons in its arsenal, a lien and a set-off. A lien is pretty straightforward. It's the right to physically hold on to something of yours, like a check or a title deed, until you pay up. But the real powerhouse, especially in our digital world, is what's called combination or set-off. This isn't about holding a piece of paper. It's a pure accounting move that can change your bank balance in an instant.
So what does that mean? Put simply, set-off is the bank's right to dip into one of your accounts that has money in it and use that money to pay off a debt you have in another account, like an overdraft. Poof, it just cancels out the two debts against each other, leaving one single final number.
And here's how it works. Unless you have a specific agreement that says they can't, a bank can basically treat all of your accounts as one giant pot of money. They can combine everything, and that final number, the net balance, is the only thing that really matters to them. So that separation you see on your banking app between savings and current, a lot of the time, that's just for show. It's not a legal firewall.
Okay, but hold on. It's not a total free-for-all. This power isn't unlimited. A bank can't just shuffle your money around whenever it feels like it. There are some really important rules and protections for you, the customer, that act like shields. So let's check out those shields now. The first, and probably the biggest shield, is something called mutuality. It sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. For a bank to combine accounts, two things have to be true. They both have to belong to the same person, so you, and you have to hold them in the same capacity. So yeah, they can combine your personal accounts, but things get tricky when you bring other types of accounts into the mix.
So, what does that look like in the real world? It means the bank absolutely cannot take money from a trust account you're managing to pay off your own personal overdraft. No way. They can't raid your personal savings to cover a debt for a business partnership you're in, and they can't merge your personal and business accounts unless you specifically agree to it. This rule is so important because it protects money you might be holding for other people.
Here's another cool shield, and this one comes from a Ugandan High Court case. The court basically said that if you have accounts in different currencies, like one in shillings and another in US dollars, that alone suggests you meant to keep them separate. The bank can't just go and merge them, they'd have to prove you both intended for that to be possible.
And last but not least, there's the notice barrier. Now this is a bit nuanced. If you have, say, two current accounts, one with cash and one that's overdrawn, the bank can usually combine them without giving you a heads up. But if they want to use money from your current account to pay off a loan that isn't even due yet, they have to first ask for the money and then give you reasonable notice. And that's to stop them from suddenly wiping out your daily operational cash and causing chaos. So, okay, we've got the bank's power on one side and your shields on the other. It seems like a fair fight. But there is one event, a kind of financial earthquake that can shatter all of these protections, tear up every private agreement, and completely rewrite the rules. And that event is insolvency.
Yeah, think of insolvency like someone slamming a giant red emergency button. As long as a customer is a going concern, operating normally, all those agreements to keep accounts separate are rock solid. But the moment there's a huge change, like bankruptcy, or the company gets liquidated, or even in the case of a person's death, that protective wall just crumbles to dust. Every agreement is off the table, and an automatic set-off kicks in.
The case that really hammered this home is a classic one called Hailzone. Here's the story. A company was struggling, so its bank did something helpful.
It agreed to freeze an overdrawn account and let the company open a brand new, totally separate account to keep operating. It was a clear, direct promise. We will keep these two accounts apart.
But that promise had a hidden catch. Just 2 months later, the company went insolvent. And what did the bank do? It immediately combined the two accounts, completely breaking its promise. So the big question for the court was, could they legally do that?
And the answer from the highest court in the land was a resounding yes. They sided with the bank. This ruling created what lawyers now call the insolvency wall. It means the second a company goes into liquidation, any private promises to keep accounts separate just evaporate. The special rules of insolvency law take over, and the set-off isn't just an option, it's mandatory. It happens automatically.
And don't think this is just some old English rule. It is written directly into Ugandan law today. Section 8 of the Insolvency Act is crystal clear. It doesn't say the sums can be set off, it says they shall be set off. And in law, the word shall is a command. It means it's automatic, it's absolute, and you can't sign a contract to get around it.
Okay, so let's recap. We've looked at the bank's power, the customer shields, and the absolute game changer that is insolvency. So where does that leave us? What's the final score in this balance of power between you and your bank? The best way to think about it is like a balancing scale. On one side, you have the bank's power, its need to get back the money it's owed. And on the other side, you've got your protections, the rules that are designed to protect your ability to operate day to day. But here's the ultimate truth of the matter. Insolvency isn't on either side of the scale. It's the pivot point in the middle. The second it gets triggered, it slams the scale down hard in the bank's favor. All your protections dissolve, and the law demands one single, final calculation. And look, this isn't just some abstract legal puzzle. This stuff defines the real-world rules of your financial life. Getting a handle on this hidden balance of power is absolutely key to managing your finances with your eyes wide open. So let me leave you with this question. Knowing all these rules now, how does it change the way you see your relationship with your bank?